do this, huh? Bippity boopity bippity bippity bop bippity bip. Hello, everyone. I am Mr. Brad Chester, Technological Wizard, and a guy wearing a hoodie over top of a hoodie. That's how I'm rolling today, children. It's going to be awesome. I have Sean, Dice with Rice with me, and we are going to talk about the Dataslate, the rules commentary, the Munistorium thingy baboppy points document, and we're all going to make fun of Sean for not finishing the PowerPoint, even though he was trying to put it together, and he was furiously going through it. And I started talking about points, and Sean went, I'm still on page 11 of the rules commentary. I don't think this is going to happen today, Brad.
Yeah, there's a lot in this one, and there is no shame to anybody, Brad, who doesn't have time to get through all of it. There's just a lot going on with this one.
Thank you very much. I was reading it while at a doctor's office, while I was sitting on the weirdest chairs of all time. I love it, Zoobs. Days since last shitty Dataslate, 0 days. So I don't think they hit Death Guard very hard, to be honest with you. I think they're fine. They were already good. How about this? Let's start off with a couple overviews. I do not think this Dataslate was as good as the last Dataslate, unfortunately. And one of the reasons I think it's not as good, because I think they touched, as I'm looking at Sisters, they touched multiple armies that didn't need to be touched. So we will go through a lot of these. We'll go through the things that I think actually make a difference. Some of the points were just points to be points, but I do think that they touched too many armies. Sisters, Orks, Death Guard, that probably just didn't need to be touched in our personal opinion. What's your thoughts on that?
They definitely left a lot of weird stuff just completely alone. That was interesting to see. So if you're a GSC player and you really wanted to get something out of this, sorry, there's nothing here for you. But if you, and also if you're an AdBec player, womp womp. If you want the TLDR of, hey, what's actually the best army? I won't sugarcoat it. The army that was already awesome, got 0 touches, changes, anything, is Necrons. So if you're like, wow, what's the best army? It's probably Necrons.
Hey, you know who predicted that? Boo! 1 point for the B-Rad.
Yeah, but for everyone else who cares about non-Necrony things, there's a lot going on, especially if you're a TO. There is a whole slew of rules commentaries.
Do you want to start with rules commentary then?
It does set the stage well for all of the points and everything, right? So sure, why not?
I mean, there's a lot that went through. I don't know if we want to even go in order. Do you want to just talk about them? What the things they're big? Let's talk about modifiers first.
Yeah. Let's just go to straight to the big point. Brad and I talked about 2. The first one is ignoring modifiers works correctly now. What do we mean by that? Well, Trajan Valoris is like Superman again. He just basically says, I don't care what you're doing. I ignore it, and I'm going to hit you really hard. Same thing with Mortarion. Mortarion now just gets to do his thing.
I mean, they pick up the big things now, too. Hey, you're half damage. Hey, you're -1 damage. Hey, you're minus whatever. I don't care.
Ignore all of it. Trying to reduce my toughness?
It's a big deal on that.
And that's a really huge thing that if you're a TO, you were trying to figure out how to rule this. There are lots of big tournament series that were like, what does this mean? Are we supposed to change this? What's going on? Well, now you have it set in stone. You have your answer. When you have ignore modifiers on your unit, it doesn't matter. They specifically enumerated, yes, you can ignore the modifiers to your weapons characteristics. You can ignore it to your models characteristics. Ignore anything you want. That's huge. That is a huge change that finally got written in stone.
I think one of the big things is, and I haven't found enough of them, but it also it's a big deal moving forward. is the very first thing on the commentary, which is abilities with the same name.
Yes, that is another huge one
Because,
that
well, they just said it stacks now. And
it
now
just stacks.
I haven't had enough time because it just came out. But, and I don't even think it's going to be one of the things that will be broken right this second. I think it's going to be broken as we add more and more things. Because they specifically state that you can double up on debuffs. That's a
now, very
huge
importantly,
deal. Not aura.
It's not conditions and not auras. So what do we mean by conditions? Conditions are specifically where it says that unit is now X.
Suppressed.
Like suppressed is the example that they give. So if you are trying to stack aura abilities, you can't do that. If you're trying to stack psychic abilities or command phase abilities, anything with the exact same name can actually stack now. That has to be, Brad and I are talking about this. Some faction specialist, you know exactly what you can do with that right now. The second, I do not have a good idea since I've been going furiously over this and not looking for rules interactions. Mr. Crawley, if he wants to take a look, he loves finding that sort of thing. That's kind of his job, literally. But there's a whole lot to explore with that if we can find the right thing.
Night Spinners, oh my god, I just realized that. Now Night Spinners went to let's go back up on this, abilities of the same name. So Night Spinners only affect infantry now. But according to this, I could make you -6 to move.
Yes, there's definitely a, does the Night Spinner, and are they going to have to add a condition to it, or are they just going to say no, yep, it's the same ability, can stack? Don't know yet.
Right now, in the example, it says abilities with the same name stack.
Again, that's why we want
people playing
a good framing.
People playing against Eldar are going to punch them right in the face.
Yeah. So that's the first thing. There's lots of other things we can go through now that were a lot of other questions that people had. Like, I know in our Necron video that was very popular, we talked about adding models back to a unit. They kept that when you bring models back to a unit, you have to bring them back in coherency. There's none of that. But, GSE players rejoice, some Necron Hyperkit players, you can bring units back and they don't have to be in coherency when off the table. Some people were saying you just couldn't bring units back because you couldn't place them on the field. We got rid of all that. You just bring units back now if they're off the table, no problem. Another big one was arriving from strategic reserves due to abilities in the first battle round. That has been hard clarified. You can bring strategic reserves on turn 1 if you went second.
Right.
And
especially we'll just use one that people probably know. The Vanguard, they have a 1 CP strat to be able to pull something off. If you went second, you can pull it off in your opponent's turn and come on turn 1.
Exactly, and it just counts the battle round as being 1 higher. That's
Night Spinner is pinned, the condition? Perfect, okay.
Pinned, all right, sweet. We can't stack Night
Okay,
Spinners.
I just wanted to make sure, because, literally, I'm pretty sure people were going to start bringing samurai swords to tournaments and just
cut up those Night Spinners. Get them out of here.
So,
another interesting one, Battle Shock units can't use stratagems when they are fighting on death or something like that. So you can't target a unit that has died to fight on death, even though technically it is destroyed. In the same vein, if you get some bonuses for being below starting strength or below half strength, you now get those when you fight on death, shoot on death, etc.
Cough, cough, Arcoflagellant sisters.
Yeah, so Arcoflagellants, yes, we'll get to the points. They got reverted back to their original points totals. But at the same time, if they fight on death now, they're going to be +1 to hit, +1 to wound, explosions, rerolls, everything. It's a lot. And that was a question that came up when I was playing Sisters too. The next one is how you control objectives and how you check control of objectives has changed and when you check. So now you check at the end of every phase and the player turn.
What the hell is that? It's not under control. There we go. Control, sorry. Control the objective markers. There we go.
We're letting Brad going. Brad's scrolling like a
furious. I know. Well, you went down like two pages. I was like, I can't keep up.
So why is this big? Well, some people were arguing that when you sticky an objective, it says, you control it till the end of the turn. And then it doesn't give your opponent an opportunity to control it back. Okay, well, they specifically enumerated now, no, I don't care. They actually wrote it in there. It does not matter what your rules are. This is how you check control of objectives now. That's a big deal for if you have any kind of sticky abilities in your army, if you want to sticky control or just contest for secondary cards or anything of that nature. Then they did a lot of clarifying. They clarified that, yes, your Azrael, your Calgar, your Swarmlord, the CP that you gain does count towards your one gain per limit.
I'm not going to lie. Most of the rest of the stuff in the rules commentary basically says, stop being a dick. You know it doesn't work this way.
Exactly. So that's the one time we're going to go over it. There are tons of these that are like, who was doing this? Like your local that guy at the store? I mean, like, come on. Just get over it. Now, the next big thing was embarked, strategic reserves, up and down abilities, reinforcements. When you come in, basically your opponent cannot trigger your normal move things. Like, if you get within 9 of me, I'm going to make a move. Well, if I just drop a guy in or get some guys out of a transport, it doesn't trigger that anymore. They just specifically said that. Also, you can get guys out when they come in from a transport. I know there were some big tournaments that were ruling, no, you can't just, bring in your transport and get out and shoot. We just said no. Well, GW says firmly, yes, you can bring your Rhino off of reserves, get guys out, start shooting with them. No problem.
I mean, it's legit on that. One of the other things that I do, and it's not as huge of a deal right now, but we have more and more things like command squads and that nature. When you give an enhancement to a character from your army, if that character unit contains more than one model, you must specify which character model has that enhancement. So basically, effectively, hey, who's got enhancement X? I will snipe him in his dumb face. It's not just a hand off to the next guy in your character unit.
That's exactly an interesting change that could definitely affect future codexes, and that seems like a little bit of future proofing there.
Also, disembarking being able to disembark off a transport is a big deal on me. To be honest with you, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's it. Finally stating these things is so nice. Redeploy. You can redeploy infiltrators. They specifically said, hey, if you have infiltrate on your unit, you can do that. If you've got deep strike, you can use it when you're rapid ingressing.
That makes forward deploying units so much more powerful, especially if you have a redeploy. Yeah,
Tyranids Vanguard, anybody? The strongest redeploy?
Uh-oh, Pizza the Destroyer coming to the $5 super chat. Hey, best good buddy Brad. Just beginning a bit back into the hobby from a little break. Why have you started writing the buffs rules for my space rules yet? Well, beyond them, to be honest with you. I want to talk about a couple of the new things because they changed. Space rules will be one of the things that we'll talk about because they changed the space whip detachment.
Yeah, I mean, there's big stuff coming, but we wanted to start with these rules because these really kind of affect how good the units are going to be with points cost or not. And there are some spicy ones in there that you get to do now.
They did clear up hazardous, and I think that most people were playing this way anyways, but they did show you how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah, they just enumerated it, and they actually gave a little example for when it changes. And for everybody out there, it only changes when you have 2 characters in the unit. Then you just are doing it just barely differently. But everyone should have been doing it mostly the correct way. I think that's it for... Yeah, I think that's actually it for the rules commentary, the big ticket items that people cared about. Where do you want to go next, Brad?
Go to the balanced data slate because I do want to talk about a couple of changes here. They're easy for that. Devastating wounds are devastating wounds. The Custodes got a huge buff. They now can take their 4-up field now pain versus devastating wounds, which is gigantic.
That's now we'll get to the points too, but combined with the points changes, Custodes are right back up there to being like, I would take this to a tournament. I would take this to any GT and say, like, I could win it. Like, me personally, I can pick any Custode army that I would make, go to a GT and be like, I can win this thing. And that is not something I was confident in before.
Yeah. We have the other thing. What do we get here? Chaos had a decent amount of nerfs on that. One, you have to share the same mark to get into transport. So if you want to get a Nurgle transport, you got to be the mark of Nurgle. The Nurgle scrat for Dop Ops K, Obscuration is 18 inches instead of 12 inches, which is a huge deal.
That's huge. That's so big.
And then Profane Zeal is reroll wounds instead of reroll everything.
And only on Undivided.
Undivided.
That's a really big deal. Something I was doing was just, using it on a Nurgle Forge Fiend, using it on Zeech Obliterators, just saying, hey, Warp Talons, Slanesh Warp Talons. The fact that you can yes, I know people wanted the CP cost to change or make it only real ones. This is an okay change that doesn't hamstring it, while it really changes what you can do with it. And I think that's fine.
I agreed on that. One of the biggest things is, I actually think this is the biggest of the changes, like hands down, bar none. Accursed Cultists are OC1.
Oh, so big.
That is so huge.
That's so big.
Before, you could not take an objective away from Accursed Cultists. It was just go fuck yourself. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Also, they only regen in your command phase instead of both.
Oh, that feels so good.
Well, it used to be ridiculous. You didn't even bother. You would never bother putting shots into them because you trash shots because of the fact that they were going to regen twice.
Yeah, they regrow 6 OC on your objective. Now that they can't do that, I think we're in a much better spot rules wise. People thinking, Chosen and Rhinos are still a thing. And it's like, not really. I mean, you can now actually kill the transport, then kill the guys inside, and that's
the thing is that I agree with Kyle on this. I agree with Kyle and Austin just saying stuff. Austin's like, Abby just went up in value, and Kyle goes medium hot take. CSM is still fine. I do think CSM is still fine. It's fine. Just not ridiculous. You know what I mean? They're not.
You're gonna have to take different units because, as we'll see in the points, the standard list went up like 265 points or something. So you're gonna have to actually change what you take.
Right. So, Bloodthirst, was that already there? I was trying to figure out if the Bloodthirst, the attitude.
No, that's actually new.
That's what I thought.
I don't think it's actually a big deal.
I mean, it's just adding one more strength because it used to be 1 and 1.
The trade-off you get is you lose all the versatility of Gladius, you lose the technical skill of Vanguard, you lose the great rerolls from Ironstorm to get +1 more strength. I mean, when you frame it like that, it's not so great. However, if you were a Blood Angels purist, more power to you. Yeah. +1 strength to everybody, in addition.
Let's go to Eldar, because I actually think that these are pretty big changes on this.
Oh,
One,
yeah.
they halved the Fate dice, so now it's 6, which still means that the old version in 9th edition was better. And they've effectively just told Fate's Messenger to go fuck itself. It literally says you can do
only the bear.
What's that? Yeah,
it's only the bear.
So that's a big deal for that. Phantasm became D6 instead of straight up 7, which is significantly different. And the Night Spinner now does not stop you from advancing. It just minuses 2 to move and advance.
And charge.
I mean, but that puts it more in line with everybody else's.
So
it's also infantry only.
So when you actually see this, what does that do? What does that change? Okay, so Night Spinners are now completely feast or famine, because you're going to have the games, yes, where you took some Night Spinners and you shot something and it was great and you killed it. You're gonna have the other games where
I just lied. I thought I thought that was supposed to be infantry. Am I lying to me?
There's no infantry.
There's no infantry. Sorry.
So far. You can still hit anything, but the problem with it is you commit your resources to taking Night Spinners. You shoot something, you're still AP 0. You don't roll the dev wounds, and you can't just throw away fate dice constantly because you don't have as many anymore. And then suddenly your AP 0 attacks they just save against, and then they roll a 6 on the advance, and you basically did nothing with your now 210 point unit. Spoiler. So that's going to be where you're at. Like, you're going to, I think 1 Night Spinner is not unreasonable, but I also think there's probably some better options we can look towards now, which is huge. This is the change I wanted the most out of anything. As I said last night, if you want to check out the Death or Glory stream, this is so big for if you're trying to. The main thing about the Night Spinner for me was when you're making a list, everything sucks when you compare the Night Spinner to what you're doing. You're like, I want to do this unique technical thing, and they're like, yeah, you just can't move anymore. Oh, also you lost 3 guys out of that unit.
Yep.
Both of those combined, just not even fun to play. All right, there's my rant over. Brad, what's the next change?
We got some. I gotta look because, of course, they did not put a change log on.
I think there was something about the Incarn.
What's that?
I think the Incarn was the next thing right above it.
Oh, sorry. It's they changed them to once in each of your turns. But
all right, I think it's once on only your turn, actually.
In your
right?
turns, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So that is what
it's still busted as shit.
It is, because what you're gonna do.
I'm sorry. That's kind of why I ignored it for a minute, because
it was hurting you.
Well, it doesn't do anything. Like, I don't care. The thing is you can't bounce away in the middle of your opponent's turn, which is nice. You know what I mean? That is a huge deal.
Yeah,
However,
she's stuck where she goes.
I can still just Night Spinner you and show up an inch away and charge you, which is
Brad. I think the Night Spinners are done. I think what we're gonna do instead is play 3 fire prisms for that cost, and we're going to take one and advance it up the side of the field, blow something up on turn 1. Pokeball, I choose you, Incarn. Here you go. She's back exactly like she never.
It's exactly the same thing that happened.
Yes, bringing the salt. Phantasm, definitely more feast or famine on that too. But Incarn being thrown into the opponent in round 1, that's still going to be something.
The thing is I do like the 100%. I like the no reactionary moves in your opponent's turn, but to be perfectly honest, most people are moving in the Incarn in their turn anyways. Yep. So in that, I don't care about the movement in my turn. I care about Sean doing exactly what we just said, which is blowing shit up with Night Spinners, doing a Fire Dragon and blowing shit up, and then the Incarn just shows up.
You got 3 different ways you can do it. You could do Night Spinners still, if you just want to kill something. You could do D-Cannons.
You do spiders.
Same. Yeah, you could do Warp Spider. Basically, the most broken thing I see out of that is you take your Night Spinners, you turn them into Fire Prisms, and you play on. And that is a little concerning. Is it more fun to play against? Sure, if you go first and they don't go first and hit you with all their Fire Prisms on turn 1.
One of the biggest changes, though, is that the Wraithguard, you can actually shoot them now.
Oh, yes.
Because Wraithguard have to shoot whatever shot them. Because what was happening right now is I would shoot Sean's Wraithguard and with my Centurion devs, and he would turn around and shoot the assault squad that's right next to the Wraithguard and shoot them right in the face.
Yep. So it was not fun. So I think actually Wraithguard are something, because there are people who want to play Eldar, and Brad and I are included. I've got a nicely painted Eldar army too. You don't have to take Wraithguard. I don't think they're amazing. Yes, they will be amazing when you rolled that 6 on Phantasm and you play them perfectly.
Yeah, but I think that
they're not tough. They're not killy.
I think this really takes them down, because now you can just nickel and dime them and then just charge them. Because before, what had happened is you'd move up your melee unit, and then they would just get a free 10-man shoot, with Fate's Messenger on that unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So if we're talking me personally, I'm never putting Wraithguard in the list ever again. I don't care about the Spirit Seer, don't care about Wraithguard. I'm just going to take all those points, the standard Eldar list. I'm going to take all those points that went to Wraithguard and Spirit Seer, and I'm just going to turn them into Shadow Specters, Warp Spiders, War Walkers, what have you. And then my 3 fire...
I do think that they're dead.
So. Yeah, no, I think they're just... Yeah, we'll get to another reason too, because their points.
Let's go down here. What happened? This was already the same. Auras don't stack, so Death Guard don't have to worry about that. The Grey Knights. Is this? Tell me about this. This AP and this weapon skill buff.
Okay, so this is a good change. This is a needed change. I got to eat crow on this one. I said they wouldn't do this, and we just had to wait for a codex. And overall, I'm proud of GW for all of this. This is a ton of needed clarification and changes that I agree with for the most part. What you need to take away from this as a Grey Knight player is not, I can kill things now. What you need to take away from it is, I will kill things if I roll normal. You still are going to have the problem where without rerolls, you are just going to fail miserably sometimes with your shooting.
Sure, but it's AP2, ignore cover.
No, it's better. It's a million times.
I was saying it's a million times better. You're not just literally trying to get someone's attention. You're actually
Exactly.
doing damage now.
This is real. AP2 ignore cover damage 3 is a real stat line.
Right.
That is scary.
That's legit.
But you need just temper your expectations when you throw all those Dread Knights in and you roll a couple 1s and 2s several times and you deal 6 damage to something. Just temper your expectations when you're doing it and play accordingly. Please, for the love of God, do not just try to jam as many Dread Knights into a list and then fail to kill something and complain. Do not do that. That is not what this stat line says. What the stat line says is your opponent must respect your damage finally and play the game accordingly.
I mean, it's a big deal. Austin's got a good points on those. I mean, yeah, I would say ignore modifiers also. Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
So it's a big deal. Now I'm going to go down to my boys, and screw it. I'm just going to talk about the detachment also. Power from Pain gives rerolls and improves the armor penetration by 1. And they have a new detachment that gives you the ability to get out of vehicles and charge. Your Power from Pain token can give you assault ramps. And they've also got the old Harlequin strat, so you can hit somebody and then bounce back into your vehicle. I was talking with the playmaker about this. You can literally go, because you get a 3-inch out. You got to figure you get 3 inches. I just assume it's going to take you 3 inches to get around whatever wall you were hiding from. And then you move 14, and then you charge, and then you can bounce back 6. And now that you get Lance on the charge, they still have shit strength with all their melee, but they're getting +1 AP and Lance, which is +1 to wound on the charge, and the ability to jump back in the transport. Does this make Drukhari playable?
Okay, so combined with the fact that I know we're spoiling this again. Combined with the fact that their dirt cheap units got even cheaper somehow, I think this is really close. They added exactly what I wanted.
You're probably still wounding things on 5s that are vehicles, but like you're gonna wound to 4s on.
But here's the difference. Though,
infantry
is
T5, T6, T7. You know what I mean?
Your Dark Lances didn't get hurt. Yeah, boo, Dark Lance index, right? But at the same time, you can now take melee units and actually kill things on objectives with them.
I mean, it's AP3 Incubi.
That's a real stat line. AP3, because when you take a look at the game now, AP3 is actually really hard to come by. And it actually will do some damage. So the fact that you can actually trade on objectives with Incubi and your super cheap army.
I think that's legit. I'm going to put this army together. To be honest with you, we're going to do a super deep dive, because we're going to do some very next deal with it is going to be basically, why can't I talk? Examples of armies after the points changes and rules changes. And I think that I'll make a Drukhari list as one of those, because I think that you can make this. I'll make it a combined forces list.
Okay, I think that's good. I think this is a good middle ground where Ynnari didn't get any better. Drukhari straight up just got better, and I am not going to be taking a bunch of raiders in my Eldar list as of now. So I think it's actually, I think this is a good change.
I think that you're going to slam small units into Venoms and just rock it out.
You're going to spam Venom spam, I think, is a real solid list right now.
I mean, let's talk about Space Wolves. Oh! So it's now each player turn, which is actually kind of a big deal.
All right. Actually, for Brad, I am a Space Wolf idiot. I have no idea what this means. I'm going to be straight up honest with everybody. Brad, what does this do?
So basically, you have to, for the Space Wolf detachment, they have to complete sagas. So they have to do things. But before, it was just like overall, it was just hard to do. Making it each person's turn gives you effectively an extra turn, but you also choose. You know what I mean? What you're doing here.
Which one?
Yeah.
At the end of each player's turn.
Yes, you can select one of the sagas listed below. If you completed it, just like you don't have to choose it and then try it. It's just, hey, did one of these things happen during either of our, your turn?
Oh, cool. You just get the benefit? Okay.
Austin, you're 1,000% right. Eddie's the same thing.
Yeah, true.
Black Templars are still just better. However, this still at least makes it better. How about that? I still think that Black Templars is wildly better in their detachment, but you know what it is what it is.
Yeah, so I'm actually really like this change then, because what it says is if you have a god awful detachment, which straight up I just didn't even look at this after the first take, is terrible. If they have a god awful detachment, they're willing to jump in with the data slate and give you something. That should make a lot of people who really like playing their fluff and just playing with the rules they have very happy. I mean, we got Space Wolf changes, we got Sons of Sanguinius changes, small changes, but they're willing to do it.
I mean, I would say they're still doing stuff. And the other thing is I'm gonna have a character attached to all my units if you're playing this, so it kind of doesn't matter with that. But I get what you're saying. It's up to a 6% total. I give you that. World Eaters on their basics will go to their actual things, but I think this is a huge deal for World Eaters. The Master of Executions, let's be honest, it's the Berserker Glaive. It's the Master of Executions. He had the Berserker Glaive. He just adds 1 to attacks and damage, not D3. And then the biggest change is Favorite of Khorne is once per battle, not every single turn. That is gigantic.
Oh, if you're okay, I gotta eat crow on this one too, because I said World Eaters are fine, and I still think they were. I think they're actually not that great now. We'll get to the points cost too. They'll be fine, but they're not gonna be at the point where I'm like, okay, this is a real, like they have just enough at all these different aspects of the game to play. This is you get 1 reroll. Whew. So I'm gonna kill Angron now, is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, you basically smoke him, and then your opponent just is sad. Talk about your knights, bro.
Knights. Okay, so we didn't get what I wanted. Instead, what we got is a reroll. We basically became Eldar's detachment, is what we did. I really wanted my bondsman abilities back. If we got bondsman back, I would immediately start playing knights. They're up there on the shelf. Because I really want to play castigators and Helverins and give them extra AP and explosions. And I never got to do it, and I'm sad about it. And that's how I feel about knights. It's fine. It's fine. It's not going to drastically change everything. You're going to get a hit roll, a wound reroll, and you're going to play some enhancements finally. And you're going to be sad that your armatures are the best models in your army with the worst rules. Like, come on.
I mean, they're bad. They needed to...
all that, and Brad's like, yeah, they suck, but I hated them anyway, and I killed them.
I mean, I hate the Knights a lot. So, but they did get screwed. I mean, they what this should say right now is we rolled all of your points and your bondsman back. There you go.
Yep. There you go, and we're done. It was an easy change. It wasn't hurting anybody. Their win rate's going to creep up slightly, but not enough to like.
You mean how many tournaments Brian goes to? What?
Yeah, basically, yeah. However many tournaments Brian Jones decides he wants to go to, it says their win rate in a nutshell.
Peach Destroyer coming to $5 super chat. Space Wolf detachment is not very good, being it still has to be a character that pulls off the saga. Like I said before, you're probably gonna have a character in that thing. And the strats are still hamstrung, but it's something. It's something. How about that?
It's something. That is that's the best
it. To be honest with you, to be perfectly fair, I won't be playing this detachment, but it is better than it was. I mean, it's like
they took the time for it, right? I mean, you have to take that away from this. Is they took the time to say, "Wow, this is terrible. No one's even touching it. Okay, let's do something with it." You want GW doing that, because that really is going to help them push the bottom up each time, wherever the bottom is. I know the Space Wolf detachment wasn't on anyone's radar for any kind of buffs. We were just like, wow, that's bad. They're going to leave it bad forever. And instead, they reached down and they picked that. Odd, but they did it. And that's important to take away.
Both. Best on shelf for S terrain. They both look fantastic, to be honest. Knights look good on the terrain and on the shelf because they loom over you. Let's talk sisters. We're going points. Paragon, Zeph, Repentia, Retributors down, Exorcist, Arcos, and Morvenval up. It's kind of a sideways.
So yeah, the Exorcist going up combined with the Triumph change means that Sisters lists, how they were relying on their consistency and damage and their threat of dealing damage has changed slightly. Um, Now, Reds went down a good amount. Paragon Warseeds went down a good amount, more than enough to make up for Morven Ball going up 10 points or whatever. Um, Exorcist at 180 is going to be
Brutal.
that's a struggle.
Too much. It's too
That's a
much.
struggle for me.
They consistently randomly just touch the indirect stuff. To be honest with you, you know what I would like to see from this page right here? No colors whatsoever.
Yeah, I kind of was in the same vein there. I think they were, again, we said it last night, they're a very fair army that's hard to play.
Hold on. KR calling me out as usual because he's right about it. Please like and subscribe, and like and subscribe from last night too.
Yeah, we'll remember eventually. It's hard when I don't have the big pop-up for Brad to look at and go, oh yeah, that's that thing again.
Brian, he goes, it looks like an attempt to create better internal balance for Sisters. Yes, I agree, but the problem is that the army was in such a great spot that I would always rather just leave something alone if it's not having any issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if it's not broken and it's not struggling, then why are we changing things just to change things at that point? Because I don't care how many points for Pencha go down. I'm not going to take them. It doesn't matter.
By the way, you guys don't even understand how ecstatic I am that there's arrows on this, because I can see the red, but I cannot see the whatever. It's just grays.
Straight up. That's not why that's why we're not doing a PowerPoint, because I don't have to tell you which ones went up and down. We have this nice green and red. We could just look at.
No, we don't. We have arrows. That's all I need, baby. Sisters, whatever. I'm not happy with it. I'm not sad with it. The army will take a sideways stance. You'll have to manage your army a little bit better. I don't really like the Exorcist going up that much. I thought it was a very nice key unit. Custodes with stuff going down, plus getting a 4-up versus devastating wounds. Are Custodes back on the table?
Yes, they're again. If you're a GT only player, you don't like traveling to big events, get out your Custodes. I'm telling you right now, they are good. They are playable. They're perfectly reasonable at everything you want to be doing as a custodian, and your worst matchup of oops, brought all Forge Fiends is now just awesome. You're just good.
I just think it's such a big deal because you can just spam whatever units ground. I think it's still ground pounders. Yeah, I mean fly until they fix fly.
Oh yeah, Virtus Praetor, ignore that. Do not take your Virtus Praetors that are not good.
Yeah. keep the dust on them and move on with your life. But I do think this is a legit. I mean, everything that you will play went down in points, and Trajan just got 1,000,000,000% better.
Oh yeah, Trajan goes in every list. Just start with Trajan.
The no modifier, ignore modifiers rule is so big right now. Whew.
Yeah, I mean that's just awesome. I don't know if I want him with Wardens or Guard. It's going to depend on your list, and it's going to depend on what you want to be doing. That's a really complicated question to decide later, and not on this stream.
Hold on for 1 second. Let me go over all the AdMech changes. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, all right, sweet. Moved on.
Eldari, Night Spinners. If you can't fix the mechanic, why not just keep pushing the price up? By the way, do you remember when these guys originally, what were they, 130 at launch?
We don't talk about the dark times, all right? We don't talk about the dark times. That's out of my mind.
Night
just
Spinners,
like the Wraith Knight, what's that? That's not a thing.
Yeah.
We don't play that here.
Well, let's talk about the fact that Night Spinners, I probably still take a Night Spinner if I'm bringing Eldar.
Yeah, I think 1 is actually very reasonable. Or again,
just go Fire Prisms. Yeah, I do think that Wraithguard are dead.
Wraithguard are dead. Now that you've seen the points are going up on them. That's a whole lot of points in something that just does not do what it wants.
Yeah, well, it's also just getting shot from 19 inches away. You know what I mean? You're like, hey, I heard you have an 18-inch gun. Sweet. I'm going to shoot you right in the face. And that unit that's standing next to you that you used to pick up, it's going to punch you, you know?
One thing I didn't see on there, the Avatar. The Avatar is still good. He's
Oh,
still perfectly.
Eldar is
He's
perfectly
your.
fine, by the way.
He is your best Overwatch because you get so few die now, but when every die
D6
is
plus
3
3.
Milta hits,
Yes.
I don't know, it's pretty good. So keep that in mind if you're an Eldar enthusiast too.
Now,
Avatar is good.
Remember this, guys. Eldar is fine. Eldar is just not a click and point and click army that you just, get the cookie maker out and just make yourself that.
Right.
You're going to see, and I'm excited for this because I think you're going to see real builds and fun builds coming out of Eldar that are very competitive, by the way.
And not Power Rangers. Don't do it.
You could make that work, I swear to God. It wasn't hard at all. Banshees are great. Ages of the Imperium. Absolutely nothing happened.
That's big, actually. People really thought the Calidus
I thought the Calidus was going to go to 1 million.
Yeah. But what that means, everybody, if you're playing Imperium, you should take a Calidus Assassin. It is just free points. Why would you not just take free points? If you don't have a Calidus, find a model with a ponytail and a sword and just play it as a Calidus. It's so good.
Austin's got it all there. Hopefully Mekdar is dead. Let's get Fun Eldar back. Yeah, 100%. It's my favorite faction. I haven't played them because they're bullshit. Imperial Guard, I'm actually surprised that the Basilisk stayed the same and the Mana Core went up. I thought they would just kind of dust all of the indirect with a little bit.
Yeah, the discrepancy here is weird for me, especially if you were keeping track. The Manticore has gone up 70 points from where it started. That is a lot.
I just don't know if it's.
They just look at damage 3 and they go.
I know, but
okay,
for $180, man, like, I don't know.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I would rather be playing Leman Russ. I actually think Leman Russ and Dorn are pretty good right now.
I mean, everything else stayed the same, but man, that's a big.
Oh, something's pointed out to me. There was a guard change. The guard change was that your orders have to come from your officer model. Slight nerf, I guess, but I don't think it's actually a big deal.
It's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
But I will make it, Matt. I'll make an Eldar list when I make the Dark Eldar list. I will be in charge of all pointy years for next week.
All right, sweet.
How big is the Black Templar nerf to Black Templars?
Don't care. It's minor. Every other Space Marine thing got hit a little bit, as we'll get to. Black Templars were still the best.
I'm not gonna hit pretty goddamn hard, dude.
Okay, so from where he started, no, because you got to remember from where they were now versus where they started. It is points up, but in the context of the whole game, right? If you were playing Black Templars, you were already competing against CSM. You were already competing against Eldar. You were already competing against World Eaters. All those armies just got cut off at like the knee, and you're just like, yeah, I got some points increases. That's it. My great rules are still there. My big bricks of tough guys are still there. I still hit like a freight train. Like, they're fine. Like, the points didn't go up so much that you're just like, oh, I just can't play this army anymore. Like, some of the World Eater stuff.
That is true. We did not talk about tell us why we said it, but we didn't say how and why the Miracle Bomb doesn't work. We talked about the fact that it wasn't.
Oh, the Miracle for Sisters.
Yes.
So there was a change we skimmed over, which was the Triumph of St. Catherine went from you can use as many acts of faith as you want. So, machine gunning all of your
just making sixes rain.
Yeah. With the combo is Triumph of St. Catherine, the Dialogus, and your choice of Retributors or a Palatine with Super Saiyan weapons. Now that you can only do 2 acts, that's how the Triumph was changed. You can still threaten people with Overwatch with multi-meltas. You can guarantee 2 hits.
Yeah, but you can't guarantee the fact that you're going to blow them up like you did before.
Exactly, because the Triumph's other ability, because the Triumph for 125 has 16 bazillion abilities, is you can get lethal hits. That's pretty good when you combo it with multi-meltas. Strength went down, but you don't care if you just make your hit die a 6 and give them a save. Now that you can't do that, it's easier to kind of just run up all in Sister's business and be like, yeah, so you don't have damage anymore. I'm just going to be right here.
Brian, your Necrons are ascended soon. Also, I originally read your name as Brian Nachos. But
Brian Nachos. Ooh, I'm having nachos for dinner tonight.
Blood Angels, +1 strength. Do you need anything else? I hope not, because you got nothing. So, Demons. Demons might have got the most mojo out of the points of anyone because they have wild point decreases. It's like 10 points everywhere. Like every unit got 10 points less.
Insane.
Sands for Nurglings, which went up 5 points, and they could have gone up 15 points, and I probably would have still taken.
And the poor blue scribes paying for the sins of Chaos Space.
Yeah, exactly. Blue scribes are like, "Hey, man, are we broken?" You're like, "No, but everybody took you in another army, so deal with it."
We did kind of glance over the Chaos Demon data slate change was with allies. It requires you to take battle line that match your Chaos God affiliation. Basically, all you need to know about that is it hurts your attempt to bring in demonic allies, which is sure. They've got other problems going on right now. But Chaos Demons, I think they're, I keep a little color-coded spreadsheet of the original point costs of like where I'd like to see things go. And it is wild to look at my point spreadsheet and see everything I wanted just go down in points. Like Secret Chariots are great. 65.
Blood Crushers went down another 10 points.
Blood Crushers went down another 10. Soul Grinders, like I think if you want to play demons now, like auto take 3 Soul Grinders. Holy cow!
Great and Clean One and Rodriguez down to 230.
Especially if they, I don't know about 2 Great Unclean Ones yet, but the fact that you can stack their reduction in toughness makes other things like Plague Bearers actually fit okay.
Is Scarbrand legit at 305?
So
that dude does bang when he gets into combat.
8 inches of movement. It sounds like you're pokeballing him with Be'lakor. That could be okay, legitimately. He's 60 points down from where he was at the beginning. That is a lot. Kairos is down too. Kairos is very solid. Keepers Secrets are actually very tough in the demon roster, and what was holding them back is that price point of 330. 40 points a model means if you took 3 Keepers, you basically get a unit of Blood Crushers for free compared to where you were. I don't know if there's something there. There could be.
I mean, it's legit on that, man. I'm just saying, like, if I can get Scarbrand into combat, shit goes down.
Oh, yeah, he'll kill it.
That dude's dropping bows. And you're getting more trash now. I mean, look at everything. Again, everything went down. Flamer's down.
This is something we talked about last night too. Is there's a European all corn build, and if you look, that build just got more points. Just straight up, everything it could take went down. Yeah. So if that was already a direction you were leaning, more power to you. More blood for the Blood God, and also World Leaders players come play a bunch of Bloodletters instead.
I mean, I think the Demons got a huge bump up, and they were kind of in limbo with nothing. So. I don't know. It's a pretty big deal on that. Let's scroll down. CK got a lot of point decreases. Woo! Yeah.
Brigands, which you were spamming, went up, and everything else is okay, let's play it. And they were already, I think, as we said last night, they're rocking around the 50% win rate. They're actually winning GTs.
They were slamming huge amounts of Brigands, though. So that is true. You are going to have to change your list. You know what I mean? Because I do think the Executioner's a bargain at 140 points, though.
Yeah, it's certainly it's not as good as the Helverin, but it's all right. I mean,
still legit.
It's all right. That's all I have to say about Chaos Knights. I mean, I don't know. I still don't want to take the big knights, and that sucks. But
sure, well, they didn't go that much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, they didn't go enough to be like, wow, I want to take that.
Yeah, if they had like 100-point decrease. Let's go to CSM. CSM got Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked. The things that let's look at every list we've ever built. It had Chosen, Chaos Lords, Accursed Cultists, Forge Feeds, and Obliterators. And those things all went up significantly, by the way.
They even hit my sleeper, which was the Warp Talons.
Warp Talons. They only went up 10 points,
so
though.
Good. Yeah, you probably still take... You probably... If everybody's like really wanting to play CSM, max out on Warp Talons. Those things are awesome. They do mission play. They're way more tankier than you'd ever expect. And they hit pretty hard. Forge
Fiends went up 20 points. The Chosen up 20 points. The Lord up 20 points. Cursed Cultists are up 15 points?
Yeah. Well, plus the Dark Commune.
Dark Commune, sorry. Which is up...
Another 50. I can't remember.
It's
If it's 10
15
or
or
15.
5. Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
remember on the original. But then, I mean, everything went up. This army went up like a decent amount.
Yeah, 265 is the average of what you're looking at, regardless of whatever list you took.
And the thing is to be perfect, and to be fair, again, I think the chaos is fine, man. You just can't spam Chosen and Lords and abuse the Nurgle strat if you want Undivided. But like the list, I mean, the list we're taking this weekend is literally 3 Accursed Cultists, 3 Dark Communes, 2 Forge Fiends, and 6 Obliterators with the Dawn. I mean, I could still make that work right now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Beach of the Store, come with a $10 super chat. Diamond in the Rough, woofing. Hear me out. Strength Sitch, 2 damage hammers now at 80 to 85 points for 5 dudes. Isn't bad. Give him +1 to wound strat. Also, frag launchers give assault. Please, this helps a lot while I'm working out. Dude, I didn't want to talk about woofing because I kind of wanted to find a random tournament to go to and slam my ridiculous amount of woofing that I have back on the table. Those guys were like in a deep dark. I think they went back into the warp looking for the woofing again, or sorry, looking for Lehman Russ again. But I agree on that. They finally have a real weapon. That pink dildo that they were using before, not cool. So I actually think that they might be legit. What are your thoughts on that? You're kind of a space wolf. You don't care or no, but
I think I have bad memories of the Wolfen just being dirt cheap, too hard to kill, and hitting me way too hard from the end of the 9th edition. Like that's
you're welcome.
I think it's that's you and Mark. Gosh, they just look at me and go, so I'm playing 3,300 points against your 2,000 points. How does it feel? I'm like, bad. I don't know.
I mean, to be fair, my list was only 2980 before.
Okay, all right, sure. But yeah, CSM, I think they have plenty of places to go. Do not be upset if you're a CSM player. This is fine. Like this is not even.
I really
like,
think
dark packs still exist.
Literally
it's
the
broken
list,
mechanic.
Yeah, the list we were gonna, like I said, the list we were gonna bring this weekend still just plays. You know what we lose? We had 1 unit of bikes to make out the round out our
got
points.
Better.
Yeah.
Bikes are just straight up better now because they can come on. They can go off on your opponent's turn.
Opponent's turn, yes.
Yeah.
So I think I think they're fine, to be honest with you. They needed to go up. They changed a lot of the mechanics we already talked about. Accursed Cultists are now just really good instead of that stupid. Right now, when you went to a tournament, if you had Accursed Cultists and you explained what they were to your opponent, they were just like, that can't be the rule. Let me see.
Right. Yeah, so that's something that was just a little silly. If you're looking for directions to go, I see some people in chat saying it. Abaddon's great. If you don't have Abaddon's awesome. Warp Talons are sweet. Havocs coming out of anywhere are awesome. Strength 12 Las Cannons, Reeling Wounds, if you want to play them undivided, still good. Noise Marines, also very efficient.
Especially if you're getting full rerolls from the Dawn.
Exactly right. Hellbrute can also make up for the fact that you lose some of your shooting if you want to cut 2 Obliterators and then just play this exact same list.
I mean, should we bother to talk about Dark Angels until we just have the Codex in hand?
No, we're not talking about Dark
Angels.
It
doesn't even matter.
Points went down. You have no idea what they're going to look like anyway, so moving on.
Death Guard. Plague Marines went up. PBCs went up because they have indirect, and you knew they were going to get nerfed because indirect. But a lot of things went down that I love. Death Shroud Terminators went down.
Oh, yeah.
Bloat Drones went down.
Typhus.
Oh, my God. Typhus is so ridiculous, man.
He's so good.
I think the Death Guard are in a great spot, especially now with you have to make the argument for Morty now with ignoring modifiers.
Yeah, it's a real consideration. And also, for everyone who's going to try it, do not just try to take 6 Death Shroud and Typhus. It's 3 Death Shroud and Typhus rapid ingressing in. That is a very powerful, efficient unit that you can not worry about dying.
And 3 with the Sorcerer.
Yeah, exactly. Or the Sorcerer. Either one. They're the points.
-1 damage with that is huge. I think it's really, really good. I think that this army is fantastic.
Yeah, don't look at the Plague Marines going up as like this is the end of the world. It's nothing. It's
Death
literally
Watch,
nothing.
I'm pretty sure that GW forgot that Death Watch exists, so I'm just going to move on from that.
Yeah, what's Death Watch? Yeah. I don't know that army.
Exactly. Drukhari. We already talked about some of the detachment things. They got. By the way, why did the Void Raven bomber go up? You're like, everything went down, and then the Void Raven bomber went up. You're like,
They literally saw people playing it. They're like, flyers in our
when
Drukhari list? Get out of here.
when Scary played a bomber, and they were like, we got to nerf that. Just, but they got some huge decreases, which was nice.
Across tons of things that you're actually going to see in play.
I mean, Venoms, Hellions, Incubi, Drazar. You know what I mean?
Raiders. I mean, like, yeah, this is just everything you wanted to take anyway. So they combine the detachment changes they gave you with points. Perfect. Or let's see how it shakes out.
I'm excited to make a list with this, by the way. I'm excited for us to come back and look at this because I'm going to make I'm going to make a fun Eldar list. It won't be straight Power Rangers, but it'll be close. And I'm going to make this Drukhari, and I hope I can make it work because with the new rules and the extra AP with the power from pain and the new detachment letting you move, basically have assault ramps, I think that you can do some shit with these guys. You know what I mean? These points are just tasty. You can bring so much nonsense right now.
Yep.
Like there's so many squads. I'm just going to literally print, click 3 of this, 3 of this, 3 of this. You know what I mean? Because you can. And why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Just spam out shit on the board.
Also, the first time, again, you guys laughed at me when we talked about Meta Monday about it, but like all the incidental splinter rifle, splinter cannon fire, it actually adds up after a while. You look at that stat line and go, yeah, you look at that stat line and you go, whatever. But they have like 18 of those. Like, you're taking a lot of shots every turn from random trash units that you just can't kill all of. Like, you can kill 4 of them, but they have like 20.
I mean, I just think that you can just spam out units. You've got all these small units that are all 60 points, 85 points, 80 points. You know what I mean? Like, I just think you're going to have a million units on the board. You're super fast, and you can do shenanigans now. I think it's legit. The cab holding is sustained 2 Darklance. Yeah, I mean, you can do some serious shit. And the fact that the Archon, they made sure that was the last one that he could join Incubi was a big deal. I think we're going to see that. Gene Stealer Cole literally got pure strain Gene Stealer.
Just ignore that. That's not a real thing. They got no changes. We're moving on.
Yeah, it's nothing. Grey Knights, we already talked about what they got with the Grandmaster.
Which is big. Grandmaster and Dread Knights, definitely huge buffs. Librarian Points got nerfed. Don't care.
Yeah, I don't care. I think that they considered him kind of an indirect, to be perfectly honest with you. Just because people would drop him in and just do damage.
Yep.
Imperial Knights, kind of the same thing as CK. They are what they are. They went down in points though.
You get some enhancements. That's all I care about. You get a few enhancements. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, if the bondsman ability is affected again, it would be fine. Leagues of Votaan, I don't agree with this. This is trash fire.
I don't agree with it.
I don't think that Leagues of Votaan are trash fire. I think that the choice to do this to leagues was trash fire. Because one, really, Thunderkin were a real problem. We needed those to go up in points. Like, come on, man.
And Sagittarius, technically, we talked about this and deal with it. Votaan, they are the most efficient shooting platform that almost any faction
It's
has.
fine, but I would say that you cross off everything except for the Sagittarius if I'm doing this.
Yes, and I think that is very reasonable. That doesn't. Votaan are not crushing everybody. They're playing a good game now. They started horrible. They got where they were very, very playable, and now we're just hitting them a little bit down. I don't know. I don't think this is really going to help or hurt anybody but Votaan.
KR agents got weave. They matrix that shit. But what do you just throw Uther in every list now? Ignore some stuff? I really think that they should
play the same list with less points.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they hit all of you. We don't have that. Look at that page. We don't have very many units.
They have less than a half page of units. That's my whole point.
You got to take them. Like, you take what's good because you don't have other options.
I guess, but it just I agree because the Sagittarius was a bit too cheap, but I think that's the only thing you change. You literally make the Sagittarius get a little bit nerf, and then you call it a day. Whatever. I really thought that they were going to escape. Like, so for instance, the Necrons. Let me go through all the changes.
Wow, so many. Moving on.
Just play Necrons.
They're so good.
Oh, screw you, GW. You know what GW did? They took my army and made it slightly more expensive. Dicks.
Now, okay, so before Brad goes on his orc rant, from where they started, kill rigs down 50 points from where they started. Remember, not necessarily just now, but down 50 points, and hunter eggs down 30. Like, they're clearly trying to push those units. They've pushed them for 2 data slates now. Just something to consider slightly. All right, Brad, go on your rant.
Ready? I'm running 2 units of knob, 3 units squig boys, and 3 trucks. I see arrows going the wrong way on all of them. The battle wagon did go down significantly. So they took a bunch of they took the rigs down. They took killer cans down, which are still too expensive, by the way. And they took a bunch of the buggies down. They took scrap jets down. They took snaz wagons and stuff. I don't know if I care until the codex comes out for those points, because I'm assuming that we're going to get a Speed Freaks detachment, and then I'll care then. Brad got orcs nerfed. Yeah. I do like that everything that got nerfed is like a staple of my army, but
Yep, you and Sean getting them nerfed real good, right where it hurts.
Gits did get better because of the fact that they can now jump out of trucks and stuff.
Oh yeah, they can come out of a they're better in every single way and didn't get touched at all.
Yep, and Uncle Bad, Bad Ruck in his groove back didn't either. So,
oh yeah,
I think the orcs are just fine. The thing is I don't want to even bother with this too much because
the
codex is coming out in what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and whatever.
Wherever it is, yeah.
Cans are an effective AB3 throw. I do think that they're too expensive. I still do, because they're hard to move around. The Morkanaut did go down. I do kind of want to bring one. Hold on.
It has been in your list ideas exactly once.
Yep. Brandon, I'm sorry. Brandon goes, I think that Marids are going to get more nerfs than Eldar did. I don't know if they did, but it's not that far away. The things that got buffed: Assault Intercessors, Inferno Squads, Intercessor Squads.
Those aren't real. Don't take those. I'm telling you right now, if you're playing those units, you're why Marines have a bad win rate. You don't take those units. They're not good. The one that is marginally playable is some Assault Intercessors with Aerial Ventress in a Land Raider. If you're doing that, you have really hit the bottom barrel of things.
What are you high right now?
I'm just telling you, that's it.
I'm not even talking to you anymore. Eric Brew coming with a $1 super chat with nothing attached to it, just a little love. Thank you, brother. Loving it.
Get to the real story.
How many more points does Gilliman need to be reduced before he is no longer ludicrous? Like
70.
A lot, like literally a lot. Like
70. He's so bad compared to what you can get instead.
Yeah, I mean don't get
especially since the Oath of Moment got worse. Like, why do I need to double Oath of Moment?
Yeah, if Oath was
I'll
still
play
Oath,
units that kill things like. And I've tried. For everybody saying like, oh, they're really poo-pooing on Gilliman, he went down point. I tried. I've played a ton of Gilliman this edition, and as soon as I took him out of my list got 15% better, just instantly.
He's just so but both him and the Lion need to go down like a wild amount. Yeah. So yes, so much yes. Aggressors went significantly up. Inceptors got just Hogan leg dropped. Holy shit. 20 points for 3 bros going up.
Yeah.
That's, oof.
They really hit Marines out of left field. I do not think they were the best army. I do not think they needed necessarily these nerfs. And those point drops aren't going to do anything. Do not take the units that got point drops. They're not good.
Wait a second. Brandon, Outriders went down. I can't even say that without laughing.
Oh gosh.
I mean, you could charge those in and kill 3-4 cultists.
Yeah.
Sent devs went up 10 and 20. Inceptors went up 20 and 40. That's brutal. That's know rough. What you did, Brad. I love that the last 2 armies I've played, both Vanguard and Orks, every unit that I played, all of them got nerfed really badly. Whoopsie. But sometimes it is. 36 Outriders and Ravenwing.
That's a lot of move blocking going on for exactly 1 turn until they disappear.
Yeah, Angron is 415 and the Lion or Bobby G 350. Yeah, except for Angron also can come back. So
yeah, yeah. You compare that, and
not only does
really
Angron
puts you.
shit on both of them in his rules,
Oh,
but
100%.
he also you can get 2 of them. So
Let's take a minute. They're like afraid to make these Primarchs less, and I don't understand it at all. Like,
then give them better buff powers then.
just
Literally
put them
both.
on the table.
Yeah,
Put them
but
on the table.
I'm saying, but
Somebody
both
play with them.
Lion
They're
and
not
Bobby G,
good.
if they would just get better, I actually think that the Primarchs should get their own detachment. There you go. So
Yeah, you're right.
If you're bringing those guys, you get special power, you special rules. You know what I mean? It's just they don't do enough. You know what I mean? I'll just take 3 other squads at this point. Marines, the Redemptor Dreadnought went up again. Whirlwind went wildly up because indirect. The biggest thing is scouts, man. Whew.
Yeah.
Scouts took a pretty big hit on that. Marines as a whole, are they same-ish?
Okay, so you gotta
It's
again
big.
context of the game, right?
Inceptors, man, and not having Inceptors, because I'm not taking Inceptors at those points, is pretty big.
Well, so you're still probably taking 2 3-mans, but you need some other way to do enough damage when it matters.
Well, I'm not
So
taking indirect with a 180 point whirlwind.
Exactly. All my lists have gone up. There's not a single list I made that didn't go up substantially.
Sorry, we have to go to this quote real quick.
Get in there.
Brad, did you secretly play World Eaters? Because they got nerf batted like Negan did to Glenn. Oh, Jesus.
Ouch. Oh, gosh.
Primarchs do sell no matter what they are because they look cool as shit.
They do. Yep, that's true.
Continue on. I'm sorry. I read that wall on that. And I was like, I have to.
I know you got to. That was a good one though. What's the detachment? Okay, so that's a tough one. I still think it's Gladius or Vanguard because the power level of Fire Discipline for Gladius combined with the versatility still insane.
Vanguard hit a lot, dude. Like that, the list I was
Vanguard
running got
really hurt.
smoked. What is? Hold on. What did I get? 60. Hold on. Let me look at my points total.
You're gonna make yourself
60,
sad.
120, 140, 170, 210, and Jesus Christ, it's 250 points increase in my army.
Yeah,
the army that I brought to Everwinter is 250 points more than it used to be.
I'm not going to do that. Honestly, Austin, the first place I would look if I had to, I'm going to be playing Necrons. Be full transparency, I'm playing Necrons, duh. But if I was going to go work on Space Marines again, I would play Gladius, and I would still play teleporting Simp Devs, because you can still deep strike them in, sure, whatever. But whereas 4 inches sucks, if there's less Night Spinners in the game, it sucks slightly less. And you can just pay the CP to let them advance and shoot, and then they are fine. They are aggressively fine. They're not good, they're fine. And they may be what you need to actually, take down Knights if you're seeing them. Anyway, that's all I have to say about the war in Vietnam.
He stole my line, bro.
Yeah, I had to get it for you.
Moving on. Space Wolves. You know what changed? The detachment. And the woofing weapons. Matico coming up with $5 super chat. Isn't overhauling your Marine list from scratch every 6 months just living that Marine life? I don't know how y'all do it. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, I also have list ADD because I'm a child and I want something new all the time. There's a reason why the most devastating super chat is Squirrel or Shiny right now. So
yeah, I got nothing. I'm sad about Marines. For everybody watching, I'm sad about Marines. They didn't deserve this. If you don't want Whirlwinds to see play, fine. But if you come on.
Well, let's talk about Tau. Tau kind of stayed around. Crisis Suits slightly went up. Riptides went down.
Riptide's going down? That's a huge deal.
I think it is. I mean, like the list that were taken for Brandon over the weekend went up 60 points. But we actually had talked about like a Riptide. I think Riptides are legit now, 165.
Riptides are actually really good at what they do. Yes, your damage is going to be swingy sometime. Who cares? That thing is tough as balls. That is a tough unit for that price. And And that's kind of what Tau wants. Once you get to double exploding sixes, nothing really matters anymore. Like you're gonna start killing stuff. So being tough in addition is a huge boon for them.
I'm excited that Brandon has now embraced 36 Outriders. I think the prices are Tau's fine.
Yeah, Tau's fine. I think Tau, in the grand scheme of everything, they're probably due for a codex soon anyway. All of this looks good. If you're a Tau player, be happy. Same thing as where do we go?
I think it's legit.
Yeah,
Thousand Suns. Here's your changes. Cool. Moving on.
Oh, sorry. One indirect one that's not listed there. For all of you taking the blue scribes, you also get to pay for CSM sins. Your blue scribe now costs more. And as someone who's been making Thousand Suns lists, I know that's going to screw up your points horribly. So good luck, everybody.
I was saying, it doesn't even matter with that. Anybody getting a codex in like 2 seconds, you know what I mean? Tyranids. Tyranids got a bunch of weird things because I don't care. 100 nickels of the $1.90 super chat. The woof time has come. Embrace 30 woof in. And it was 60. You know what? I'm going to try that out.
Just get them in there. But yeah. So Tyranids are interesting. There were those, now we can talk about it. There were those leaked points, which of course were nonsense. They were scary. Gargoyles did go up, but not enough to where I'm not taking them.
They're still the best army in the best unit in the codex, like not even close.
Norn Emissary going down by enough to cover Gargoyles going up. That was definitely intentional. Neurolictors, of course, were
criminally posted. Yeah.
Same as Death Leaper. Like those are very justifiable. Okay, honestly, Death Leaper for 80 and Neurolictor for 80. Death Leaper is so wildly better than anything for 80 points.
Yes.
You still take him. Pyrovores didn't go up enough for me to care. Screamer Killers didn't go down enough for me to care. Although they went down significantly. I'm not going to trivialize that.
The one Biovore you're taking didn't go up.
Again, Trigons are cool for their 3-inch and scaring people. They aren't that scary if you know what they do, but they scare people a little bit. Terrain effects, I can't seem to put one in my list, but they are big and tough and sometimes shoot
went down. I mean, it does have a big gun. The gun, if it connects, is disgusting.
Oh yeah, 100%. But there's also the times where you don't, and then you're sad.
True story. So,
oh, sorry. Before we move on, though, because I know Manic will kill us if we don't say it. Broodlords and Gene Stealers went down. That is big combined with.
That's a combo because of the reroll. Yeah.
Yeah, the rerolls and the rules commentary letting you
pick those
play
guys
them
up.
safe and then put them back up.
Right.
That's
and pick them back up and come immediately back.
Yeah, that's a really big deal, and I think you could look at this and say, "Sweet, I'm going to play Vanguard and just be happy."
Uh-oh. Meta Money coming in with the $4.99 super chat. Top 5 best factions now. Bronze. That's tough, to be honest with you.
I think Custodes. I think Custodes are actually back up there. Everyone else took a hit.
Are they in the top 5?
Yeah, they absolutely are. All points went back to normal. Think about where we were in the game where Custodes was. That's basically where we are, except for you don't get the giant squad sizes, which, if you remember from the list, you and Carly rammed down my throat at ATC. That I'll admit was actually good when I played and beat Ziegler. I'll give you credit there. It was fine. That list was good. I was 20. Let's see. I had games where the Wraith Knight shot me 16 times and I got 17 3'd, and then there were games I played Eldar without Wraith Knight and 20 0'd them. So I think Custodes are like actually solidly in the top 5 now.
I still think CSM's in the top 5.
I think CSM's as well. I would put Custodes at 3, Necrons at 1, CSM either at 2 or maybe 2 or 3, and we push them down 1. And then I actually still like Black Templars. I think they're
fantastic.
They're still way up there. That leaves 5. I don't know. I don't know who the 5th one's going to be.
When their codex comes out, you know who it is? Ork Power.
Orks. Yeah. Top 5 worst faction.
I'm coming with the $4.99 super chat. Imperial Knights.
I like Imperial Knights for definitely down there.
I got to make that Drukhari list before I say that they're still in the shitter. Yeah. Because I think that there might be something there. That was a lot of point decreases. And
I think technically AdMech is still down there because they were already bad and got nothing. just straight nothing. They benefited from no rules changes. They benefited from no points changes, no data slate, nothing. So I'm definitely going to put Imperial Knights, AdMech,
Death Watch.
Death Watch, because they don't exist. World Eaters is going to be a stretch. I still think they're not.
I don't think they're at the
worse
bottom.
than
No.
They would be at the very top. If we're going like individual detachments, like sure, Dark Angels detachment, Space Wolf detachment, but I don't think those are very good to lump in there.
Are we even putting those in? We're not even accepting those are real?
Yeah, they're not real, so we're not going to do that. Oh, bottom 5.
It's rough on that.
I don't know. I think Guard is now at a spot where they're actually approaching the bottom.
I don't think that though, because they've got so much random trash. You know, the fact that you can't, if you get battle shocked and you can't bring your guys back, that's a big deal. That's what I'm saying. Sentinels.
They like definitely are hurt a little bit. And you know what? We should take a minute because we said it. I think GW did a good job on this one, regardless of what faction you're playing, if they think you hit someone too hard or not. The fact that Brad and I are struggling right now to pick out 5 top bottoms, that's good. We know for sure that AdMech were not good and got nothing, and so we're putting them there. We know that Imperial Knights did not get the changes they needed to be good, so we're putting them there. But other than that, you listen to us, we're like struggling to come up with things, and that's a good sign for the game.
And the funny thing is I think that if you have all of the loot in the universe, which is what you need to play AdMech, there's a list there too.
100%. Yeah. If you want to play Old Faithful with a bunch of damage 3 attacks from little robots driving around in little tank treads, like it's there.
I mean, there's stuff going on. Let's go down to World Eaters. Hey,
the last one.
Ooh, hey, that World Eater Forge Fiend went down in points.
In the same vein, the Quad Lord of Skulls went down.
Triple Lord of Skulls.
They listened to us. Other than that, though, everything that you were taking in the cookie cutter list that you had no choice but to take as a
Re-Exalted for $160 or 6 for $320. I mean,
combined with the
nerfs,
the favor change, the Berserker Glaive guy, I don't even care about anymore. He can hit anything he wants. Don't care.
I mean, I still care. It's 3. It can do a bunch of 3 damage to me.
I don't care. It's whatever. That guy has hit so many Redemptors and bounce for me that I've stopped pretending he exists. But it is huge. 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, that was like your list, right? Like
everything that you play got nerfed. There's 8-bound, Exalted 8-bound, Karn, the Master of Executions. There you go.
You know what's funny is people who weren't taking as many 8-bound were like throwing in Karn and another Master of Executions. Like, you just can't do that anymore. Just you just can't do that.
I mean, it's there. Whew. Why did they hurt them so much? Why did they touch the World Eaters?
Because they had those 25 extra points, and they're like, okay, we can help you with that. Like, the cookie cutter list was 1975 or 1980, and they're like, oh, we see you had some points to spare. We'll go ahead and give you those. How about that?
Plus some. Whew. I don't think that they should have hit World Eaters. Sisters are fine, but they still think they should have not touched them. You know what? Screw this. Let's go to the mojos right now. All right. Biggest winners, biggest losers. Go, because this gives me time to think about it.
The biggest winner, definitely Custodes. Top army, you will see them. People have Custodes models. They've been wanting to play Custodes models. I can't think of a weakness they have that can't be solved with just rolling 4s. Not a bad place to be in. And points went down. Like, so you're taking more, you're better, and you're already great into everyone getting nerfed a little bit. Biggest losers. It's not CSM. Sorry, buddy. CSM's still solid. Biggest losers, I'm so hesitant to say Eldar. Biggest losers, definitely World Eaters. Like, you just lost everything out of left field. You're the biggest loser, probably followed by Eldar.
You are the biggest loser. Keith Murphy, $2 super chat. What are you guys most excited to play with the changes? You know what? I'll do that when I do my biggest winners and losers here. I think that Drukhari is a big winner. They got a new detachment. They got point buffs like nobody's business. And I'm going to try to figure out a list to make them work. And my biggest losers were the fact... It's one that didn't get changed. I think that AdMech needed a little help. But we'll see. I think that they should have. I think that Dark Eldar are going to look good. I'm very excited to make. I really like Dark Eldar, and I think that I can make that list play fun. I'm actually happy with where Eldar ended up right now, because I think that it's forcing people to actually play Eldar in an Eldar way. I know that sounds stupid, but it does feel like they're going to have more fun in the list. And then I think Marines, yeah, if I'm going to go with people that actually got hit, I mean, my Marine list got smoked. Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Matt with $5 super chat. The Rhino driver kicking out all the 8-ball because they're rowdy seems petty. They're too big, yo. They didn't fit. They have to buy 2 seats on the airplane.
Yeah, right. I mean, there's definitely some funny stuff going on with that.
Ooh.
If we had to, sorry, go ahead.
No. Just Zoom's got a great question, which is one of the things you were talking about before. He goes, go back and watch your own wish list video. How many wishes got fulfilled? To be honest, not that many, but I will give you go ahead.
They got the biggest one, right? So it's not so much our last wish list video it's all of our wish list videos. Every single one we've been since day one, and you can go back and watch us. We've been asking for the Eldar changes we finally got. If it takes a year, okay, fine. At least we got it, right? So that is definitely we've hit everything I wanted to hit now. Now we just gotta hope that it's not unbelievably overpowered still with some new crazy finagled build. Let's see, what's another one we got, Brad? Drukhari?
Drukhari was my biggest one. I said that they had to have mechanical changes, and they gave them mechanical changes. Are they enough? I'm not sure, but I think that they're tasty. I think that they're 100%. Like, I'm excited. How about this? I'm excited to make a Dark Eldar army, and I have not been before. And I think that's a big deal. I think that right there is a hit. You know what I mean? That is definitely a hit. Is it a home run? Not sure about that, but is it something that I'm excited about? Yes, and I think that's really good. So I think that that's one of my wish lists on that. They kind of finally punted Phantasm to the sun. D6.
You're going to see a lot of people that just are like, okay, I'm exactly an inch off from where I need to be, and that's how it's going to change. There's no more of this, okay, I'm going to make this wild, crazy move and just not be punished at all for it. It's, okay, I'm an inch past this ruin. If you come near me, I can go an inch back.
Right,
and I mean, that's what you have to play it as.
You're not going to... The Wraithguard are really not playable anymore, which I think was nice. The double nerf, the points, and the reactionary. Plus, Phantasm for them's a big deal, too, because they have a base that's larger than an inch. So if you roll a 1, you're trying to go past a wall, well, nope. You know what I mean? So that's a big deal on that. So I think that was a big deal. What else wish list do we have? They touch people that I didn't think they should touch. I mean, obviously, I have thoughts about that with my orcs for one, but like, we didn't do enough.
Yeah, they didn't. Okay, so we're reaching the point where these changes have been much needed for a while now, so they feel kind of bland. So it's kind of hard for us to be like, yeah, we got all the things we wish listed, when in reality, it's like, these were the no-brainers we should have had a while ago. And now it's just like, now we've got a bunch of armies that are in the middle, and it's hard to pick out who's other than Necrons. Necrons are the best. We're calling it now. They need nerfs. Like, you need some changes on them.
Oh, they need more time, though. We just deal with them being the best for a month or so, and then they get nerfed.
You just nerf the Catans and the Wraiths, and you're fine. I think the army is perfectly reasonable after that.
Yeah, I mean, my wish list did ask for no Leagues of Votaan nerfs, and that is the thing I'm most disappointed on, to be honest with you, because it affects them the most, because they have the fewest data sheets. So it's a big deal on that.
Wish listing Grey Knights, they gave me the one thing I thought they would never give us, which is extra AP and ignore cover. That's like way more than I was ever asking for.
Real damage on that. So I think that's
back in.
It's a big deal on that. I would say Dread Knights are back in. I like that quite a bit. I actually think that they did CSM perfect.
Yep, I agree.
They changed multiple mechanics, and they gave them point nerfs, but they did not punt them into the sun. They
They didn't change Dark Pacts, is what we mean by that. I'm going to simplify what Brad's saying there. Dark Pact is a broken good mechanic that rarely ever punishes you, and it allows CSM to take these rules changes and points nerfs and still be just fine.
Yeah, I think CSM's going to be fine. They're just not going to be autopilot destructors. You know what I mean? So I think that they did CSM very, very nice. So I'm very happy. Out of anything that they did, I think that they did CSM perfectly in an army that was probably the top army, and they didn't nerf it into unplayability. And that's a big thing. They've done that before, where they just go, hey, this army's too powerful, punt. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then just make it unplayable. I was happy that they didn't do that. Eldar, I'm looking at Eldar. Are Eldar where they should be right now?
So I think I can't believe I'm saying this. I think they are. You're still going to have some unfun games where they go first with Triple Fire Prism, but if they don't go first, like, they're not going to just be able to do that. So then they need line of sight to see you. They can't just, throw trash units forward and let them die in your turn and teleport the Incarn over there. Like, there is enough there, and everyone has so much experience playing against Eldar now that I think those two things combined will make them fine.
I just think that, like, you can play that army and play it like it's an Eldar army now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we're not striking and fading some Wind Riders, but everything else is fine. I really want my Wind Rider. I have 27 nicely painted Wind Riders, and I need them.
And those are rookie numbers. You gotta pump that up. That many Wind Riders.
Sorry.
Weak sauce.
Sorry.
No.
Well, I mean, how many of yours are actually like together and not just like half broken piles of moldy?
I don't even know what you mean by that.
Paint. Yeah,
that isn't how you keep your models.
Yeah, that's not normally how we keep. We also usually don't paint with finger paints, but you've proven me that you can, in fact, do that. Not a good idea, but an idea.
I think that Eldar's probably where they should have been the whole time. Everybody hates them because of the things they did before, but I actually think this army is probably legit and good. And also, if we didn't have a year of wanting them to die out back in the dumpster behind IHOP, we would be fine with this.
Yeah, straight up. For literally 2 seconds, I was like, I could put Guardians in my list to get Fate Die, and then I remembered that Fire Prisms exist, and then I stopped. But it was there. That thought was there from it.
That's funny, Austin. How many have scatter lasers? I actually have a ludicrous amount of bikes, and they have either cannons or scatter lasers, depending on the edition. Black Guardians for the win, yo.
There you go. Well, we're gonna have to see.
We're gonna call it. We're gonna wrap it up. Wrap it up, Sean. Tell me what you're thinking. Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you happy and you know it? Clap your hands. Are you bummed? Where do you think the meta is? I know that they didn't hit the mark, but is the meta gonna be better than it was yesterday?
For every army but Necrons, this is about as fair as we have seen it since the end of 9th. That's as much as I can give you. I think they've done a good job.
Yes. I think that we're in a good play. I think that they didn't hit the mark, but I don't think they were that far off everyone. You know what I mean? There's some things that I really wish that happened differently, but I think that we're as close as we're going to be. I mean, we also just hit a home run with the last Dataslate. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? We got spoiled as far as that. So, everyone hates Necrons. Not while they're playing them. So, on that note, let's Queens wave it out. Hold on. First off, like and subscribe. 40klorecast.com. Everything. I own every single thing that says the 40K Lorecast. Dice with Rice. Wargaming Simplified. You can't see it because he blocks it out. It just seems like he doesn't know what his thing is. There we go. Check it out. It's playing right now. And we will be the next This is what I like to do. I like to make public declarations that Sean doesn't get to say anything about. We're going to do a deal with it, and we're going to put some of the new lists out with the new points and the new rules, because I do think that they changed several armies significantly. Drukhari, Eldar, one of them, hugely on that. And I think that you want to make a what list do you want to show people that changed the most, or at least you want to show it?
Oh, that I want to show it? I mean, Necrons doesn't count. My Eldar list is funny, but you're doing that. I get their Grey Knights together. I think they're going to be fun.
Want to do Grey Knights? Let's do a Grey Knights on a DG. Change a lot.
Let's do Grey Knights and Custodes. I want the
Ooh,
I want the
Custodes.
2+. I want 2+ save armies.
2+ save armies.
Yeah.
It is hot and it's this Little Caesars of data slates. It's hot and it's ready. Is it good? Nah. I told you it was hot and ready. Quit asking me questions. And on that note, everyone, Queens wave us out of here.